The WES show was cancelled due to low ticket sales. 1PW have sold out over 700 tickets for their comeback show. Eric Young is set for Wrestle Carnival's Ringmasters. RKJ is to challenge Joseph Connors for the British Wrestling Revolution Heavyweight Championship at their 5th anniversary. The first competitors have been announced for RevPro UK's Queen of the Ring. And we've got all the fallout from the Progress Super Strong Style 16 weekend. Hello, everybody. It is Tea and Ties, the Great British Wrestling podcast for Great British Wrestling, as featured on bodyslam.net. I am your host, the Great British Doctor, Mr. Andrew Moore, and the two most. And of course, joined as always is Big Daddy Dan, Councillor Daniel Allen, just down for short. And of course, we are no longer, unfortunately, sponsored by Power 4 TV. I haven't actually put it down, but I think we might as well discuss it. Unfortunately, Power 4 TV will
cease transmitting.
Losing TNT Extreme recently probably was a very big blow to the promotion.
After losing FNW.
FNW as well, going down, probably did not help at all. We wish them all the best. It was a great system. We thank them so much for all of the support they provided us throughout the years. They've always been such great, throughout the months, for at least a year.
Yeah, it was over a year.
Yeah, at least a year. And as I say, it's always nice to be recognised, and, you know, they did give us a shout out, and we did join fourths. I, of course, was at the Super Strong Style 16 weekend. Dan was there for the day 2 show, which was absolutely phenomenal. All shows were absolutely fantastic. Got a few new items for the wrestling wall. As you can see over on the far corner right there, it is that damn dirty dog Gene Money. My Crash Broke one I finally got out of the wash, so there we go, that's up there. I've got Warren Banks, his Kaiju t-shirt, which is fantastic, really like that one. I got that this weekend. My Lyrical Dragon one, and my favorite piece so far that I got at the Super Strong Style 16 was a signed picture of Maggot, the WXW star, and he was fantastic.
Let's just take a minute to discuss Maggot's meteoric rise of support within Progress. Now, I wasn't there for the first day, so I missed that, but my God, he was over on the second day.
He was literally over on the first day. The Progress faithful, if you like, are always quite knowledgeable in wrestling, so I'm sure many of them may be on the WXW now, such as myself, and maybe have seen his matches. His music, his entrance music, is the same that he uses in WXW, which he used for Progress. It's very hypnotic. It's very easy to get into. It's very easy to clap to, and the way he walks and the way he carries himself, and
he's awesome. He's absolutely awesome.
Radiates something, and a little disappointed that he did go out in the first round, but of course he was still there for all 3 days of the show, and he was fantastic.
I just want to big up Maggot because I was so impressed with him. Really, really was.
Indeed. And of course, we will have news regarding WXW, as well as a few other European promotions, a new one, a couple of Italians, and a couple of Spanish promotions. And of course, we've got lots and lots of British wrestling. You know, it was a big story at the beginning of last week, of course, because we do let the week go, and it was right at the beginning, this story, which was World Wrestling Entertainment Series, the promotion that had been set up by the former Authors of Pain. Well, they decided, because it was supposed to be this weekend during the Progress weekend as well, during the Jubilee spatially, and they blamed Jubilee for low ticket sales.
So they blamed the Queen.
So they basically, oh yes, they blamed the Queen. Now that's going to be our little headline. World Entertainment Series blames the Queen for low ticket sales. I'm sure it was not just the Queen. I'm sure it had a big problem with the price that they were charging for the event. Of course, they have rescheduled now. I think they've moved it now to the 9th of July.
They're going to have a slight issue getting a ring, though, because the ring that they booked, they hadn't paid for, and they didn't inform the person. They found out through Wrestling Media. So good luck to them getting hold of a 20-foot ring in the UK.
Yes, that was, I believe it's Styx who was did that over in Nottingham, of course. His school and promotion, is it House of Pain? But
I'm not sure.
They have the ring, and they were hiring the ring from Styx and his company, and as they say, they did not inform Styx, so Styx said he would still be charging them, which is very valid and 100%.
Yeah, that's business.
Chelsea Green will not be at the next show, neither will Tennille Dashwood. I believe Lindsay Dorado put out a tweet as well about how unhappy and unprofessional he had found things. Not a great start.
Do you want to put money on them putting the show on the 9th of July?
I give you 5-1 odds that they don't go forward.
I don't think I will take those odds.
They, you know, it's there was a lot of issues, not just the fact that it was Jubilee. As I say, it was overpriced. It is a bunch of ex-NXTU guys who possibly think they're bigger than they are.
Well, no, I'm sorry. It was mainly main roster guys. It's not NXT guys. It is mainly main roster guys. They may not have done well on the main roster, but they did make it to the main roster.
But, you know, as you say, they didn't do well there. You know, there were a lot of guys who I would like to have seen, but not for that price, you know.
I do know you are a big Adam Scher fan.
I'm a huge Adam Scher fan. And I was dying to see CJ Perry versus the NFA. Oh.
Was it a tables match?
Oh, God, yeah. I was desperate on my behalf to watch that. We're not getting off to a good start. We've been a bit bitchy already. It is Wednesday morning. We don't normally record in the mornings. You're getting morning grump factor now.
I'm only on my second cup of coffee. You see, this is the problem.
I'm on my third. It's still not helping. It was a long weekend.
It was much drinking, but we will get to that when we discuss progress. But in the meantime, let's discuss something more positive. Let's discuss some really good British wrestling news. Yeah,
1PW had no problem selling 700 tickets plus, and I think they're literally down to balcony seating only over at 1PW now. They have also produced an exclusive backstage insider tour for 8 people, which sounds absolutely fantastic. This is something that you know, just having a look at, you know, early entry, 45 minutes prior to the public doors. You get a tour host with a member of the 1PW presentation teams, an opportunity for photos in the ring, photo opportunities down the aisle of the 1PW entranceway, enter backstage by walking through the curtain to the production area, meet the production staff, meet the wrestlers. It sounds like a phenomenal thing to do. There are just 8, well, at the time on the 6th, there were just 8 remaining places. Who knows if they've already sold out now. Just sounds like a lot of fun. And as I say, 800 tickets, 700 tickets plus sold, which is fantastic for British wrestling. There are not many promotions that can boast 700 odd seat. So ringside is all sold out. Second and third row seats are all sold out. Floor seats are all sold out. There will be stalls and balconies available still. And of course, as we just said, if you're lucky enough, maybe the exclusive insider tour. You know, I gave 1PW a hard time to begin with, and they've just done such a fantastic job. I'm not gonna, you know, I jump to conclusions. It looks really professional at the moment.
It really does.
Really, really does. Doncaster Dome show should be fantastic. 700 seats. And Current Noir has now joined the roster. We'll be certainly talking a lot more about Current Noir soon.
Yep, and also announced is a fantastic match, because one of the things we were saying when they first said is that, oh, there's lots of big American names, we need to focus on the British talent. Well, Mickie James versus Lizzie Evo.
Yeah, you know, Mickie James was the one person I said, that's the one I would like to see, and that's the person I would want to see wrestle. I think she is a phenomenal talent. I was a huge fan of her TNA run. Originally when she came in Hardcore Country, she literally burst down the door, and you know, she was a huge part in Women's Revolution Wrestling. She is an amazing talent. Still is, yes, yeah. Well, I said she is. I'm not saying she was. I'm saying she is a fantastic talent. I thought the WWE mistreated her twice, and Lizzie Evo, or Elias Alexander. Of course, you're not allowed to use her name as Elias Alexander because that is a WWE name, and that would be part of the rules for bringing her in. So it is still Lizzie Evo.
Didn't Progress have her as Elias Alexander?
No.
No? I'm sure I saw a company that had a name as that.
If you did, they shouldn't be, I don't think.
Oh, learn something new every day.
Yeah, I believe it was when I had BCTW and I talked about the actual situation between bringing WWE talents in. I really should have done an article about it. I might track that down. Great conversation with the BCCW guys. So if you haven't checked out that interview, please do. 1PW also, thank you for the follow recently. We did notice, so that's fantastic. It's always nice when promotions do follow us. So 1PW, congratulations. It's amazing. As I say, if you're Doncaster, I will be at a show at some point. 1st of October, of course, is I'm probably planning to be in Germany. But fingers crossed, we'll see. Anyway, let's talk about Wrestle Carnival. They've got Ringmasters coming up on the 10th of July. And our man, the tribal chief of the Big Fat Geeks, Mr. Stephen Souden, who was there all weekend with me for the Progress show. It's a shame he couldn't make it on the episode today. Maybe should have asked for some of his thoughts. Maybe next week we'll get a little bit about some of his thoughts.
I can give you some of his thoughts in a little bit.
Yeah, it was, you know, so Eric Young has been announced as a surprise, probably a given considering we know the relationship between Gary Ward and we knew it was there, but it has been announced Eric Young will be at Ringmasters, the Coventry show. That looks set to be fantastic. I can't wait to talk about it for the Wrestle Carnival preview show when that comes up with Jonas. Look forward to seeing who he faces. Of course, Tiska will be there. I know he'll be challenging the champion. So yeah. Either Charles Crowley or Mr. Scott Garland. But who knows what Eric Young could be up to.
Well, it'd only be fair if Tiska had already had a match as well.
Yeah.
Also announced, Wrestle Carnival have announced the first name for their anniversary show, which they're having in conjunction with Pro Wrestling Noah on the 7th of August, and it is Adam Maxted.
Yes, then I have announced a couple more, but of course that's news for next week. I believe Spike, Gene, and a few others. But Adam Maxted was the first name that has been announced for the Carnival show. I'm not sure if he was announced for the Carnival Coronation Champion tournament or
I
something.
believe he was.
Yeah,
In fact,
so
I'm sure he was.
that sounds very, very interesting. I 100% plan to be at the Pro Wrestling Noah show. Come on, it's me. Of course, I'm not going to miss Pro Wrestling Noah being here back in the UK with Wrestle Carnival. Really, really look forward to that. But yeah, Max Stead, big name in British wrestling. He is fantastic. He has got a gorgeous drop kick. He looks like he was made of marble and carved by a Greek god. So good for Wrestle Carnival, another big name.
Yeah, he is big name across Europe, and I think he will fit very well in the Carnival shows.
He certainly will. Of course, before Ringmasters before the Wrestle Carnival anniversary show and after Ringmasters, it's Charles Crowley's Funhouse, which is on the 10th of September, and it's shaping up nicely. Names like Robbie X and Leon Slater will be joining the fun. On top of that, you've got Clementine, Ava White, Joseph Connors, Levi Muir, Ian O'Brien, and of course the Haskins, Mark and Vicky. So
great work as ever, Wrestle Carnival.
London's calling, and should be a great show.
Right now, I believe it's your apology time.
Yeah, time for me to say I got something wrong on the last show. I wrongly stated that Robbie X and Kip Stadium would be for the BWR Heavyweight Championship after Robbie X retained against Joseph Connors. I was wrong. Joseph Connors actually defeated Robbie X to become the new BWR champion, and he will be defending that championship against none other than Ricky Knight Jr., and that's on their 5th anniversary, which is the 1st of July. They've already had one fight, but they had a screwy ref in that match, so RKJ got screwed. He was the Anarchy briefcase holder, which means I think he was entitled to a championship match. And so he will be taking on Joseph Connors, who is certainly starting to get around now. As I say, a huge name for the British wrestling scene back, and he's been doing some fantastic work.
I just had major cramp in my leg, which is why I jumped up for those of you on YouTube.
It's not a problem. Of course, Robbie X will still be facing Kip Sabian at the show, just not for the BWR Heavyweight Championship. So there are some other great matches. Tonga, after winning the War Maidens match at the last show, she will once again challenge Gia Adam for the BWR Women's Championship. Scotty Rourke is also set to defend his BWR Cruiserweight Championship. That is against the Youth in Revolt tournament winner, Mr. Tom Farewell. So that should be a great match. They have another Anarchy 6-man ladder match for the briefcase, and that will feature Man Like Doris, Will Cruz, 2-Bit, Powerhouse Blake, Big Guns Joe, and Miles Kamen. So some good matches there. Anything popping out at you?
The ladder match, I think, will be amazing. And anytime you have Miles Kamen and Man Like Doris in a ladder match, you know it's going to be good.
We just saw Man Like Doris in a ladder match. It was fantastic. Of course, there has been a long-running program between Big Gun Joe and Powerhouse Blake over on the British Wrestling Revolution, and Miles Kamen, of course, being part of the Second to None faction alongside Nathan Cruz and Matt Myers, and Gia Adams, of course, is a member as well. 2-Bit was the former Cruiserweight champion. He does look great. Tom Farewell versus Scotty Rourke. That has the potential to be quite special, and I really look forward to that. Two fantastic young talents. Speaking of some young talents, some amazing young talents, in fact, 3 have been announced for the RevPro UK's Queen of the Ring, which is on the 9th of July in Huntingdon. You have the homegrown young sensation Repro UK Secret, which has now been unveiled, which is Maya Matthews. And if you still haven't seen her match against Alex Windsor on the Unfinished Business show, it was fantastic. She was absolutely phenomenal. She went toe to toe with who I consider the best in the country, and just a great match. She looked set to be phenomenal. She actually got a pinfall victory over Nightshade when teaming with the women's champion Alex Windsor against Rhea O'Reilly and Nightshade of the Uprising of. But other people have been announced as well. Should take the next one?
Yeah, I would love to. LA Taylor has also been announced. The 6 Foot Warrior has been blowing up the scene up and down the Southwest, winning championships in several promotions. She has recently made her Repro UK debut. Kira Chimera has also entered the field. The French anti-conformist, one of the toughest people in the industry, even competing in France's first ever women's death match.
She was also part of the TNT Extreme Dead or Alive all women's deathmatch tournament from last year. Yeah, she's tough. She is a tough old lady. Need to see her against Ivy because she likes to carry a baseball bat as well. So baseball bat wielding battlers against each other. 3 great names there. 5 names still to be announced. Something we haven't actually talked about regarding Repro UK, and we should bring it up really, is Gabriel Kidd made his return recently. So it will be remain very interesting to see what if Mariah May heads back to given what Gabriel Kidd said. But it's a difficult situation. He was very stupid to say what he said. He should not deny her truth. It was her truth and her truth alone. It's not something he should literally be cancelled for or anything like that, but he should definitely probably at least address it. But he had a phenomenal match on his return with Dan Maloney, and look, as long as he's got his mental health back in check, I look forward to seeing where he can go to, because as I say, New Japan, Young Lion graduate. Talking about young RevPro UK guys, of course, not that young, but still young. Michael Oku, the 28-year-old, the undisputed cruiserweight champion of the world, one of the longest reigning RevPro UK cruiserweight champion, the most defending cruiserweight champion in RevPro UK history. I know he's made a couple of appearances in the States just a while back, and he looks set to be making another trip to the States, where he's going to be performing for Garden State Pro Wrestling at their Vikingdom Come show, which is on the 27th of August in New Jersey.
Excellent. Drew Parker. He's got balls, let's be honest here.
Big balls.
Brains will have to question, because he somehow managed to recover from his thigh cut, that nasty injury, to win the GCW Tournament of Survival. 3 death matches in one night, already with a major injury. Wow.
Yeah, you can still see the giant scar in his leg and the stitches and so forth there as he was competing in these toe-to-toe with some of America's best deathmatch wrestlers, picking up the win, Tournament of Survival 7, the trophy. Wow, it was quite something to say the least. So he will be at TNT Extreme this Thursday, this July 9th. He has an Extreme Divisions match against Mr. Clint Margera, somebody who he's had many matches against in the past here in the UK. It is his return to the UK, something very much looking forward to. I thought maybe we could have seen him at the Progress Super Strong Style 16. Unfortunately, not at that time. Now, Dan was going to take this story because he knows much more about it than myself. But we're going to talk about it. The twat, Mr. Charles Crowley, has joined the cast of East Enders. Congratulations. I think there is more details on Twitter. Let me see if I can find them. I, of course, do not watch EastEnders. It's not something that is in my regular watching. No, that's his film. Here we go. He is Dave, the new mechanic at EastEnders. So I don't really much else to tell you about that. I don't know much about Charles Crowley in EastEnders. I don't know much about EastEnders. You know, the last time I watched EastEnders, God, I must have been 16. That was a long, long time ago. Right, I'm not sure what's happened with Mr. Daniel Allen, but it's time to talk about Super Strong Style 16. This was absolutely a phenomenal weekend. I really, really, really enjoyed myself, mixed in with my stag do, of course, because I'm getting married in 2 weeks. And it was a great way to celebrate that, actually, and didn't really probably need to drink as much as I did. Felt, you know, it's like you're obligated to have a few drinks on the thing. But of course, I'm a grown man. I had a few drinks. I did enjoy myself. And yes, it was a long weekend. It was tiring. Did my back in no end. But it was 100% well worth being there. So day one, we literally had the 8 first round matches. This started with Charlie Dempsey and Charles Crowley. Charlie Dempsey defeated Charles Crowley to move on to the quarterfinals. Malik defeated Callum Newman. Kid Lycos defeated Maggot. Aramis defeated Robbie X. Chris Ridgeway defeated Dean Allmark. Warren Banks defeated Big Damo. Gene Money defeated Ricky Shane Page. And Johnny Progress, or Johnny Mundo, or Johnny Impact, or John Morrison, that person, Johnny Progress for this show, he took on Jack Evans in the main event. A great start. Let's see. Look at my notes. This was a great way to kick off the weekend. There were some great matches from start to finish, and lots of amazing performances. It would, you know, for day one, it was almost impossible to try and pick a MVP of the show. Now, the match I would definitely of the show 100% has to go to Aramis and Robbie X. It was a phenomenal debut for Aramis, who took Robbie X. Robbie X, of course, took him to the limit, but Aramis did come away with the win. 100% definitely my top pick for the show. As somebody who was an emerging performer, Callum Newman put in a performance that showed that he belonged among the top stars of the UK, despite his defeat to Malik. Even Malik begrudgingly gave him some a little fist bump to say, "How we doing?" and gave him the respect after the match. Ridgeway and Dean Allmark, Chris Ridgeway and Dean Allmark, they literally put on an absolute clinic of wrestling. You kind of have to be into this type of style to really enjoy this match, because there is a lot of rolling on the mat. There are a lot of fancy transitions. There are a lot of amazing reversals and counters. I certainly thoroughly and enjoyed it. The matches like G-Money and Ricky Shane Payne, as well as Warren Banks and Big Damo, well, they provided us some big men slapping meat action. 100% fantastic. Maga versus Lycos, as well as Charlie Dempsey versus Charles Crowley. Both showed these technical aspects, as well as some really entertaining spots. Hey, Big Daddy, and you're back in time, just as I was going on to day 2 in just a minute. Let's have a look, see, where was I? The main event of day 1 was given to the two most experienced performers, Jack Evans and Johnny Mora Mundelli Progress.
That'll be the one.
He put in a performance, both of them put in performances that was truly worthy of being the main event of that first day. Just a great show all round. I would have given it as as 3 3/4 stars. It wasn't quite a 4, but it was better than a 3.5. So yeah, 3 3/4 stars. Great way to just kick off the first day. So that's not a problem. On a side note, during the intermission, the young superstar and recent AEW signing, Nick Wayne, was announced for the upcoming Chapter 136 24/7, which is on the 24th of July. It was also announced that Anthony Gogo would be making a surprise appearance for day 3, and he was looking for a fight. More on that in a little while. Of course, Dan was here for day 2, because that was my main stag part of the weekend. It was Saturday. It started off with Sunshine Machine defeating 0121 and the Smoking Aces in a triple threat ladder match for the Tag Team Championships. Sunshine Machine becoming the new Progress Tag Team Champions.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Anglia Great Western Railway Services for completely screwing over my ability to watch this match for cancelling all their bloody trains.
Yeah, well, there was some idiot on the tracks that day, weren't there?
Yes.
Unfortunately, it stopped a couple of people being able to come through from things. So I appreciate the effort, guys. Really do. You can only do so much when trains F you in the bum like that. Yes. Anyway, where was I? So Big Damo then defeated Dean Allmark. Gene Money defeated Malik. So Gene Money moves on to the semi-finals. Luke Jacobs defeated Big Guns Joe. There was then a Tiska came out and said that he was being told Luke Jacobs being overconfident and arrogant, and that they would meet tomorrow for the championship, and he shouldn't have taken this match against, which was supposed to be Jonathan Gresham, by the way, but Jonathan Gresham had to pull out of the show. It ended up being Big Guns Joe, and it was a good match.
That was the match that I came in at, and it was a really good match. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
There we go. Chris Ridgeway defeated Charlie Dempsey in his quarterfinal match. So Chris Ridgeway then moved on to the semi-finals. A 8-man tag between the closer personal friends. That is Just Joe Lando, Maverick Mayhew, Danny Black, and Callum Newman. And they took on the team of Ricky Shane Page, Robbie X, Maggot and Jack Evans. Not quite the scramble match, but an old multi-man match involving all the people that were pretty much eliminated, apart Callum Newman, of course, the entire team on the other side, but Callum Newman teaming with his close personal friends. The other two eliminated, of course, Dean Allmark and Big Damo, who had a match earlier on the show. The second half of the show, Charles Crowley tried to get himself involved in the second match and was escorted out of the match, first by Ricky Shane Page and then by security. Then it was the intermission. Alex Windsor defeated Lizzie Evo and Raven Creed. Lana Austin actually attacked Raven Creed during the match. Of course, this backfired, but Alex Windsor was able to come away and pin Raven Creed. Lana Austin was like, "Hey, you pinned Raven Creed, we should be friends. You did it, way." And Alex Windsor just gave her a good stiff shot to the jaw with a nice solid forearm. And basically said, no, we are not friends.
It was a good match, and it was proof positive, even though it's not needed, that Alex Windsor is a superstar.
She is phenomenal. So, of course, Lizzie Evo and Raven Creed, who more than held their own in this match. Fantastic for all three women. Really just great match. Thoroughly enjoyed this. Warren Bax defeated Kid Lycos in his quarterfinal match, moving on to the semi-final. He did make sure Kid Lycos 2 could not get involved in the match by taking him out right before the match with a huge knee. Made Kid Lycos 2 a non-factor and managed to defeat Kid Lycos. Johnny Progress defeated Aramis. This was fantastic. And then it was the main event. Spike Trevay defeated Cara Noir. Cara Noir must now leave Progress.
Now,
a bit more on this.
I had issues with this match. It was brilliant. I thoroughly enjoyed 99% of it. I don't want to give away the one bit that I didn't enjoy, because I want people to enjoy it on the network and on Progress on Demand. But there was an item brought into the ring which took me out of the match.
Oh yes, I remember you saying that you didn't like that thing. Yeah, I can certainly understand it. You know how I feel about most things sort of like this, but it's just he decided obviously current one just knew he was going to need this item and made sure it was available.
Yes.
He obviously had a plan.
He did indeed, but what use an inflatable ship would be, I just don't know. Did you mention the fact that you got a shout out from Mr. Miller?
Oh no, I forgot about that. Of course, Mr. Steven Sand did tweet Progress and Mr. Simon Miller beforehand, telling them that of course we were celebrating our stag, and we were. I didn't even tell them that we were up top on the VIP balcony. That was very, very impressive. I remember at one point, I'm not going to talk about all the people who were up there, but you know, people to our left, people to our right, wrestlers, you know, many of who that we have spoken to in our time. But I was just thinking to myself, how and why?
It was a case of we're looking next to people that you see on TV on a regular basis, and it's like, this is awesome.
You had to restrain yourself because you never wanted to be too fanny, do you? And be like, oh, can I get a picture? Can I get this picture? No, we were not like that 100%. We really just enjoyed it. We let everybody else just enjoy it. And guess we did chat to a few people, and it was a really awesome experience. Of course, the little velvet rope goes up as you go through. You have your little private bathroom, which is fantastic. Anyway, so here were my notes for day 2. This is how you follow a great show. You put on a truly incredible show. It kicked off hot with our triple threat tag team championship player of the match. Smoking Aces, Sunshine Machine, the 0-1-2 way. What a way to start. All 6 participants, you know, Chuck Rambo GK from Sunshine Machine, Nick Riley, Charlie Sterling from the Aces, Man Like Reese and Dan Maloney for the 0-1-2-1 exceeded the expectations, and the fans literally erupted when Sunshine Machine were climbing up. When they reached up, they grabbed those bells. You know, the crowd just went nuts. They absolutely loved it. Sunshine Machine are a well-beloved team. They're a phenomenal tag team. And now they are the tag team champions of the top 2 companies in the UK.
And big shout out to all of the wrestlers, and hope everybody is fit and healthy after the match, because there were some big hitting moments.
Yeah, I did not particularly like that surfboard ladder contraption. I was absolutely terrified when they were out there. I'm like, no, don't do the stomp bit as well. No, don't do this. Oh, God, it was something that needs to be seen when it gets available, either on the WWE Network or Demand Progress, wherever it lands first. Go watch it.
I think Chuck Mambo has put a little video up on his Twitter.
Yeah, of that exact spot that I just talked about as well. And yeah, and I can't believe, you know, we were with wrestlers who were all still and it was quite a thing. Just great. Each of the super strong sub-quarter-final matches really delivered, but for me, Johnny Progress and Amorous really stood out. Not just as the quarterfinal matches, but just stood out full stop. This is my first time I've ever seen Aramis, and my God, what a performer! Just absolutely great. He's well worth finding more about if you haven't seen him yet. His match here with Johnny Morrison was, Johnny Progress, fantastic. It really, really was. The 8-man tag match at the Close Personal Friends was just an incredible display of acrobatics and semantics as well. You know, some that I would normally complain about, but you know what, I was just enjoying myself as part of the whole weekend, and certainly, but one spot in particular that was just wow was Danny Black, Just Joe Lando hitting moonsaults to the outside as Callum Newman hit a Phoenix splash on the inside simultaneously from the same turnbuckle.
It was cool. It was proper cool.
That was something to truly behold. Wow. Again, go back your way to see this. There was the main event, of course, dynamic wrestling rivalry, one of the most dynamic wrestling rivalries in all of wrestling outside of the top 2 promotions. This has been such a huge part of progress over the last times, a few outings. This match was violent yet beautiful, brutal yet stunning, compelling and dramatic. It really was. For me, I would give that entire show 4.5 stars for the second day. Just great. What a day. Of course, it was for Stag Do as well. The whole thing was just, yeah, just amazing. And go watch this. 4.5 stars. Of course, they had another huge announcement during the intermission for day 2, and that was the announcement that DDT star from Japan and, of course, recent AEW star. He's been making his waves all over the American independent scene right now. Really is one of the best wrestlers in the world. It is Konosuke Takeshita, and he is freaking great. He's going to be part of the Deadly Viper tour at the Copperhead and Cottonmouth shows, which are on the 13th and the 14th of August and are in Sheffield and Newcastle, respectively. Now, of course, I'm going to be at the Noah show the week before, so I'm probably only going to be able to do one of the shows. So most likely be the Newcastle show because it's quite easy to get into, and there are regular hotels available, and it's a Sunday. So actually thinking about it, I might be able to do without an hotel. Interesting. Yeah, definitely, you know, I'm so psyched to see Konosuke Takeshita in the UK.
You did pop big for that one, I must admit.
Yes. Yeah, because you were there for part of it and most of it. What were your kind of thoughts on it?
My standout was Charlie Dempsey versus Chris Ridgeway. I thought that was absolutely phenomenal. I have been looking forward to seeing Dempsey in person, and I was not disappointed by that. I also really enjoyed the Close Personal Friends, because how can you not? They are just the future of British wrestling. There are going to be so many champions in that group from so many different places. We've already had championship gold around the waist of Danny Black and Maverick Mayhew and Callum Newman. And yeah, I think Joe's won at least one belt as well. I think it's going to be a huge collective, and they are well worth seeing live.
Forgot about that one. This is actually from day one, but Callum Newman hit this suicide cannonball tope through the top of middle rope. He picked up so much speed and came out with so much force and smashed through Malik into the. I thought he would kill himself. My God! And Callum Newman,
also,
you need to be saluted. Really do.
You do, and on that note, hello to Mr. and Mrs. Newman, who saw us at the show and said hello as well. So big shout out to Mr. and Mrs. Newman. They are lovely.
Lovely people. Okay, right. Day 3. Let's get through this. Let's have a look. See, it kicked off with a
wrestling match,
schoolyard picket match.
That was close.
So it was an 8-man tag match. So again, not a scramble, but a multi-man, involving the Eliminated and a few other people who, of course, were in the building. Team captains were Ricky Shane Page and Big Damo. So they were picking people from the back to be on their fatal 4-man. This 8-man tag. Big Damo was the first pick. He actually picked Charlie Dempsey as the first pick, but out came Charles Crowley instead, and was basically told to go do one. And he then sat in the crowd, and while everyone was getting picked, like, pick me, and being all disappointed when he didn't get picked. Super fun. So in the end, so Big Damo picked Callum Newman, Jody Fleisch, and Maggot. And Ricky Shane picked Charlie Dempsey, Dean Allmark, and Charles Crowley. Charles Crowley was the last person to be picked. There was even... No, you have to see it on demand. You just do. It was a bit silly, but certainly it was part of the whole Super Strong Style 16 theme. You know, it was kind of a fun match, so it has some great spots in it and just really enjoyable. Warren Banks defeated Johnny Progress to move on to the final. And it was quite funny. I was sitting next to a very close friend of Warren Banks and a Top Gun performer. He was wincing every time Banks was doing stuff, because he knows obviously Banks had an injury recently with his shoulder and a nerve, And yeah, you could see Paul was so worried about his good friend. So it's great to see actually sort of like these guys really supporting and worrying about each other, because they know each other can get hurt during these, and he certainly wins on more than one occasion. Then you had Chris Ridgeway versus Gene Money, and Chris Ridgeway defeated Gene Money. It was funny. We were on the train over, of course, we were talking about things, and most of Progress, including myself and yourself, wanted it to be Banks and Gene Money. But I was there on the semi-final day. Chris Ridgeway was still in it, and I'm like, Chris Ridgeway can play spoiler here. Chris Ridgeway can seriously play spoiler here. And he did play spoiler, in particular for Gene Money, of course, in the first in that semi-final match. It was a brutal match. It was vicious. He took apart Gene Money. It's not pretty to watch. It was not pretty to watch whatsoever. But Chris Ridgeway went through, and he was going to meet Warren Banks in the main event. We then had the women's championship match, Kanji versus Giselle Shaw, in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Kanji, of course, won the match. She became the Progress Women's Champion in the process. It was actually Giselle Shaw who picked up the first pinfall and the first fall, but it was Kanji picking up the second and third fall to become the new Progress Women's Champion, and it was fantastic. It was an amazing match. Jack Evans and Aramis teamed up, and they were taking on Lycos Gym. Some great Lycos Gym antics, but Jack Evans and Aramis came away with the win. Anthony Tate Mayfair's come out, and he was looking for Anthony Ogogo, because of course Tate Mayfair is the greatest professional wrestler to ever walk on planet Earth. Tate is greatness, and he wanted to prove this by defeating this bronze medal Olympic winning boxer. He didn't accomplish this.
Did he not?
He did not. He got beat, and then he was like, got back to his feet, and then says more things, and Anthony Ogogo had to come back and put him down again, and then he got back up again, and then Anthony Ogogo had to come back again and put down. It was a lot of fun.
He did leave Ogogo with a nice shiner on his cheek, though.
He did, yes, from that dive. Yes, it was very, very good. Luke Jacobs defeated Axel Tiska to retain the Progress Atlas Championship, and it was phenomenal.
It's a match I've seen before. It's a match I would like to see again and again and again.
I saw the match previously as well. I didn't see the match previously live. I saw this one live. This one, for me, was definitely the better of the two. It was so good. They battered each other, and it was beautiful and brilliant. And then Chris Ridgeway defeated Warren Banks in the finals to become the new Progress Champion, and of course the winner of the Super Strong Style 16 2022.
Now, I'm not disappointed, because this will bring open a whole new level of storylines, a whole new start. To be honest, I think now that this has happened, with the Carnival, Spike Trevay, with Gene not getting through to where he was, with Chris Ridgeway being the new champion, I think this is a complete reset, with Kanji being the new women's champion. I think this is a complete reset for Progress. This is exciting.
Northwest Strong controlling the gold as well as the Progress Atlas champion and Progress world champion now in Chris Ridgeway. I said it on the train to Zelda, and I said he can play spoiler. If there's anyone who can play spoiler in this tournament, it is Chris Ridgeway. It was why, when I fantasy booked it, I eliminated Chris Ridgeway in the first round, because if I knew if I had put him past the first round, it would be very difficult not for him to go out and win. So that's why I eliminated him early by Charlie Dempsey. But great. This was so good as well. The drama, the added aspect after what he did to Gene Money in that match, and then doing it again to Warren Banks. You could feel the collective heartbreak of the Progress faithful. It was just, and no, it was all over. The dream was over. It was Chris Ridgeway, Noah Junior Tag Team Champion, and now Progress World Champion. Congratulations, Chris Ridgeway. No, I'm not complaining about it. I personally think he's the best wrestler in the UK.
What was the crowd's response to Ridgeway winning?
Oh.
Interesting.
It was, well, as I say, the faithful behind Money and Banks. And not only did he defeat them, he defeated them thoroughly.
Yeah. Okay. No,
Took them apart. He destroyed them, and the collective heartbreak was just too much for the Progress faithful to take. I'm going to show you this picture because you obviously might not have seen it yet. Send it to ourselves. No, I can send it to you. I'm sending it over on Twitter. Your account. There you go. There's that photo, so you can watch that photo while I give my actual notes for the show. The final day, it had a lot to live up to following the action of day 2, and it did it very, very best to do so. Begin with a great multi-man match to open the show. That match was Callum Newman and Robbie X, just really showing how incredible their abilities are, but it was the interaction between Charles Crowley and Maggot that really stole the match. Tate Mayfair's versus Go-Go, it was a quick match. It did show that Go-Go continues to improve every time he steps in the ring. Aramis put on another amazing display alongside Jack Evans, and Lycos Jim's tactics and antics are always amusing. Both titles matches were fantastic. Jacobs and Wolf, it started slow with their technical prowess, and before you know it, it was hard hitting back and forth action. Kanji and Giselle was a lot faster, more technical, but they also had their fair share of hard strikes. And again, the jubilation for Kanji when she regained the championship, she never lost, was a huge thing for the faithful of Progress. The semi-finals and finals, super strong matches, were brilliant. As we mentioned, the crowd was split between Banks and Money as the crowd favourites. Morrison's and Ridgeway were there. They could play spoiler, but I never thought that Morrison was going to make it to the finals, but Ridgeway was the guy that I really felt could. Banks did a fantastic job in there with Johnny Progress, really proving any doubters that possibly could have still had that he belongs at the top of British wrestling. Ridgeway, as we say, he did play spoiler, first crushing the dreams of Gene Money, and then you could feel the collective heartbreak as the referee stoppage, and then again in the finals. Just brilliant highlighted drama. This was excellent professional wrestling match between Banks and Ridgeway. Now, I forgot to tell you, and we mentioned it, it was the caveat of day 3, was Spike Trevay coming out to address the crowd following everything that had happened. Now, again, I'm going to talk about myself and Sheldon discussing things on the train. And I kept popping up on my screen, you know, every now and then, Chris Carnival announced for this company, Carnival announced for this company. And I think, okay, so Cara cannot be signed. And I was like, Cara Noir has gone from Progress, but that doesn't mean that Tom Dawkins is gone. So that's exactly what happened. Spike Trevay called out Tom Dawkins, who was forced to come down to his ring. It's so weird. No makeup on, shoes and jeans and t-shirt. It was weird. And after Spike Trevay berated him for several moments and told him that, of course, Cara Noir had to be gone, but Tom Dawkins could stay. But not as black belt Tom or any masked wrestler. He has to be Tom Dawkins. No Madam Guillotine, no Rude Awakening, no Package Pole Driver, no Swan Roo, nothing that was Cara Noir. So this was brilliant. And I'd like to say, I called it. It was really funny because I'm not going to say again, so it was I remember seeing Spike Trevay in the ring, and I'm like, I know Cara's gone. It's going to come out as Tom Dawkins, isn't he? And the person I spoke to was like, I don't know. I don't know. So, yes. But no, this is good because phenomenal talent. It would been huge to lose them from the British wrestling scene. Of course, we haven't mentioned earlier, it's going to be with 1PW, a few other promotions, and he can be Cara Noir elsewhere, but he can't be Cara Noir in Progress. So, what do you think of that?
I think that's awesome. I just wanted to also mention we were there for Andy's stag do. We did have a brilliant time. We were treated wonderfully. We had 2 non-wrestling fans with us who really enjoyed themselves and really had a great time. And if you are friends with a non-wrestling fan, take them to a live show, because they will accept it so much more when they see it live than they will do when they see it on telly.
Yeah, I think so. I really do think so. And of course, there was again a huge announcement during the intermission, and DDT star and former Progress Wrestling star, former Progress Wrestling Tag Team Champion, in fact, Chris Brooks, will be returning to Progress. He again is going to be part of the Deadly Viper Tour. He's going to be at the California Mountain Snake Show, which is in Birmingham on the 25th of September. Probably going to have to rule myself out for that one. I don't think you can really get all the way down to Birmingham, unless there's maybe a couple of different shows on the same weekend. But we'll have to wait and see. Right, do you want to talk about NXT UK?
Well, I'll keep it short but sweet. We started off match-wise with Von Wagner versus Sam Grabwell. Big boys. Wagner is massive. He's a hoss, because Sam Grabwell is one of the biggest guys in NXT UK, and he was ragdolled in many different ways. It was a good match. However, in the end, Wagner won by putting him up for the huge swinging power slam and the 1, 2, 3. Agreed. I think that this is going to be Wagner taking on Ilya.
I feel like how many matches of NXT UK goes won against these Americans that have come in?
We'll get to that. Because at the moment it's only Shah Samuels.
Yeah.
The saviour of NXT UK, Shah Samuels.
For sure.
Stevie Turner defeated Angel Hayes. This was, again, a good match for Angel Hayes. She looks great. She keeps getting jobbed out with her entrance. Let her win some matches, because Stevie Turner desperately needed this win. Desperately needed to prove that she can keep going all the way. And she really can. She is a great wrestler. They had a proper good wrestling match. Angel Hayes, as I said before, absolute talent. It was great, and in the end, Hayes lost to the Mass Effect.
Good win for as I say, need her to pick up a win.
Yeah. And then our final match. Ooh, was the tag team match for the NXT UK tag team titles. Smith and Carter versus Mustache Mountain versus De Familia. I was a little bit surprised that De Familia didn't have some outside interference. They did just have the two of them, which was good.
Preparing for the Super Strong Style 16.
Granted, but still, I would have expected a little bit more shenanigans. There were shenanigans. De Familia did put people in the apron and give them a good beating. Smith and Carter are just amazing. And if in the future Big E is not able to return, I think Oliver Carter could be an excellent addition in the future to bolster the ranks of the New Day. I think he'd fit in perfectly. However, he won't be doing that for a while because
they are.
Carter won.
Yes, they did. About time.
About time. And deserved.
Yes.
It was very good. Seven grabbed the title and he was going to hit Carter. Bate intervened, took the other end of the title belt. Like, no, we will not win this way. And then Carter dove in, took out Bate, and Smith rolled up 7 to win the belts. Afterwards, Mustache Mountain appeared to fall apart as Trent Seven storms off, repeatedly yelling, "I'm done! I'm done!" The end of Mustache Mountain, it would appear. We shall see.
This has all been spoiled by Carlaholic a few weeks ago. Yes,
it was. But we shall see. We enjoyed it. It was a good show. I would give it 3.5 sugars.
Fantastic. The overall for the whole weekend, I would give it 4.25 sugars for progress. By the way, I didn't really actually put on my final fours. And my final fours, despite MVP, Manga and Charles Granny not being involved in too many big things, for me, they were the MVPs of the show. Even their interactions at the stalls where they're selling their merch, it was fantastic. And for me, definitely 100% my MVPs, Manga and Charles Crowley.
Excellent. Right, let's go on with what is happening this week in British wrestling. We're going to start on Thursday the 9th of June with TNT Extremes going off big time in Liverpool. Dan Maloney versus Dean Allmark for the TNT Extreme Championship. Man like DeReese, whose t-shirt I bought at the show, versus Mark Haskins Ultra X Championship. The Liverbirds versus the Uprising for the TNT Extreme Women's Tag Team Championship. Kings of the North versus La Rebellion for the TNT Extreme Tag Team Championships. Mr. Charles Crowley versus Alexis Falcon. Drew Parker versus Clint Margera for the TNT Extreme Division match. And Gene Money versus Session Moth Martina. That is a show and a half.
Plus, Anthony Ogogo has just been announced, and he will be hosting an open challenge at TNT Extreme. Who will answer that? Could it be Kate Mayfest again?
I would quite like it to be Mad Kurt.
Oh, yes. Okay. On Friday, the 10th of July, there's a couple of shows that we really like to recommend, which is Purpose Wrestling Lightspeed in Wimbledon. You got David Francesco versus Jordan Brace for Championship Tournament semi-final. Nino Bryant versus Connor Mills in another Championship Tournament semi-final. Two Good Eggs, Rex Armstrong and JJ Lynch will face the East City Sovereigns, RJ Singh and Jordan Saeed. The losers must disband. The OJMO will take on Solomon Lamb, and Laura Di Matteo will be taking on Sky Smithson.
Nice. Also, Black Country Championship Wrestling sent her victorious in Tipton. BDK, Reagan Bishop and Grayson versus Carson Bailey and Luke Basham and Eddie Corbin. CJ Rawlings versus Luke Douglas versus Lee Hunter versus Kean Kelly. Yeston Reese versus LJ Cleary and more.
Could be a great match. Reese versus LJ Cleary. On Saturday, the 11th of June, ICW have got their Wrestle Experience in Inverness. Danny Black versus Leighton Buzzard should be a great match.
Daz.
Go.
Daz Black.
Daz Black, yeah. Daz Black
Danny
versus...
Black.
Oh, sorry. Daz Black versus Leighton Buzzard. That should be a fantastic match. BT Gunn versus Dylan Ford. Ravy Davey versus Thatcher Wright. Ian Skinner and Charlie Vice versus Jimmy Pierce and Looking Sharp. And many more matches.
Yay! Sunday the 12th of June, Jurassic Pro Wrestling spit out the bone in Harwich. Darcy Stone versus Rain Leverkusen. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Kelly Six versus Nino Bryant. Adam Maxted versus Nick Payne. Warren Banks versus Corey McRae. That'd be brilliant. And the Lads versus the West Side Heat.
Yeah, that should be a very, very good. High energy. Lots of entertaining spots between the Lads and the West Side Heat. But Warren Banks versus Corey McRae. Now, I've seen it happen elsewhere, and I know they always deliver. They will be our picks for this weekend. So, but don't forget, there are so many local shows. Get off your bums, get down to a local show, take your kids, take your family. It's a great day out.
It is. You can't go wrong with British wrestling, and you can't go wrong with a British wrestling raffle. Right, further roundup. Phoenix Wrestling, the Saviors of Destiny, put the Phoenix Tag Team Championships on the line against the debuting 0121 on the 25th of June in Cork, as Debbie Keitel will also challenge Anita Vaughan.
Sacrifice Pro Wrestling on their 5th year anniversary show, which is on the 19th of June in Bedford. The 8-7, Roy Johnson and Alexander Roth will team together with Mia Cortez. They'll be facing Guerrilla Warfare, Alexander Hyde and Nathan Bryan, and a mystery partner.
Riot Cabaret have announced the Jukebox Rumble for their grand opening show on the 28th of June. 8 women, 1 winner. You pick the entrance music. Love it. Competitors are as follows: Livy Grace, Laura Di Matteo, Rhea O'Reilly, Sky Smithson, Ronnie Knox, Kelly Van Ness, Session Moth Martina, and Harley Hudson. Tweet Riot Cabaret with your competitor and the song you'd like to see them enter using hashtag Jukebox Rumble. I would like to see Sky Smithson come out to I'm a Barbie Girl. I'm just trying to think of the worst combination of music for somebody, and yeah.
It will kill you.
Yep. I'm willing to take that risk because I'm a long way away at the moment.
Indeed. Colosseum Pro Wrestling, who make their debut in London on the 16th of July. They have a huge tag team match. Kings of the North are set to face the 8-7, Roy Johnson and Alexander Roth. Plus, Sheik El Sham with Nadir Sapphire in his corner will be facing Warren Banks in a first time ever matchup. How good does that match sound?
That does. Independent Wrestling Universe. Robbie X will be in action at the next chapter of the Independent Wrestling Universe in Kettering, where he will face local star Stealth.
Odyssey Pro Wrestling, OPW's Mutiny is on the 18th of June, and there's plenty of scores to settle, including Big Guns Joe and JJ Webb versus JJ Webb, Andre Decker versus RPD, Rick Marcus versus Ryan Hunter, and now added to the card, veteran Sam Bailey will be taking on the young, powerful Rob Drake.
Kamikaze Pro Wrestling,
by the way.
Oh, right. Yeah. Kamikaze Pro Wrestling, Chantel Jordan is set to defend the Kamikaze Relentless title at the 9th anniversary show on the 24th of June against Lana Austin in Birmingham.
Should be a great match. Win Wrestling at Win Wrestling's Multi-Nation Madness on the 2nd of July in Northampton. CJ Carter will have the chance to challenge for the PWX Pittsburgh World Heavyweight Championship against the current champion and Pittsburgh native, the Red Prince of the Sky, TJ Skies.
Fight Factory Pro Wrestling. Gene Money makes his Fight Factory debut in a match against Dom Tuck at the Fight Factory Pro What We Do in Fight Factory on the 24th of June in Cork. How many times can I say Fight Factory in one promo?
Indeed. UBW Ultimate British Wrestling. Amira Erez will be facing Harley Hitter. at the Superstar Showdown, where Tajiri will also be facing Charles Crowley, and that is on the 25th of June in Royston. And our roving reporter, the good man, the tribal chief of the Big Fat Geeks, Mr. Stephen Stowden, will be there.
And they've just announced that there are 2 VIP tickets that have just come available for that show if you want to jump on those now. I unfortunately won't be at that show because I am going to be at Glastonbury. Lancashire Wrestling Federation, Leah Raven is set to go one-on-one with Aurora Tevez as Tonga faces Kelly Van Ness at the Red Rose Rodeo on the 25th of June in Jawley.
Yeah, to think of it, that Kelly Van Ness and Tonga has been brimming since we saw the Winter Warfare in December, which was a fantastic show. And of course, one of our recent favorites, Leah Raven, Aurora Tevez as well. That should be a really great match. I believe they had a brief interaction during a 6-man tag at a recent LWF show. Pro Wrestling East at the Rock'em and Sock'em Wrestlers, which is on the 27th of August in Ely, Cambridgeshire. You have the semi-final matches for both the women's and the men's championship. For the women, you have Rita Slayworth versus Charlie Morgan and Jetta versus Nightshade. And in the men's tournament, you've got RJ Singh versus Scotty Rock and Peter Nixon versus Gene Money.
Let's go over to the Euro news, and I'll let you start this because it is your favourite promotion in Europe at the moment.
Yeah, WXW Germany is their Broken Rules. It's going to be this weekend on the 11th. You've got Maggot Faces and Baby Allison versus Eva Koloski and Sebastian Suave. Jörn Simmons will be taking on Vincent Heisenberg in a last man standing match. 2 giants among men. That is a titanic collision. Rotten Flot will be facing Egil Blanc and Senza Volto in a tables match, which will also be for the tag team championship. Robert Dreisker and his new heelish ways will be taking on the 16-karat gold winner in a rematch, because it was Robbie Dreisker who met Robert Dreisker in the final. So he will be once again facing Jonathan Gresham. Can he avenge that semi-final loss? Alexander Wolf will be facing Cara Noir in a first-time ever match. A 6-man scramble match where the winner will be granted a prize. They'll be told on the day. You got the rotation versus Orsi versus Bobby Guns versus Peter T. Honey versus Hector Invictus versus Masha Slamovich. That's going to be a really, really great match. The rotation is phenomenal. I'm a big fan of Peter Tahani. Bobby Guns is fantastic, and of course Masha Slamovich has been making a name over in the US recently, and also is a phenomenal young female competitor coming out of Hungary. The following day there is a double feature which will feature Chris Ridgeway return to WXW, and he'll be against Fast Time Mudo, which should be a great display of brutal fighting techniques, because Fast Time Mudo is a black belt in Taekwondo and very vicious kicks. But of course, Chris Ridgeway is a grappling technician and a striking master himself, so it should be a phenomenal match. And Gresham will be taking on Tristan Archer for the WXW Unified World Championship.
Lots going on. And the latest Scandi Graps show's just gone up on WXW On Demand, hasn't it?
Yes, Scandi Foundation is from last year. Something I've been looking forward to watch. I know it's also been on IWTV recently, but yeah, I will definitely be making my way to watch the Scandi Foundation, and I'll probably maybe review it for you guys next week. I'll also be checking out WXW True Colors show from last week. Obviously I probably would have done it this week, but busy with the Super Strong Style 16, of course. But let's head over to Spain.
We will, with Lucha Libre Barcelona. The absolute champion, Golden Boy Santos, is set for his second defense of the championship, having retained it against a Levi Muir. Santos will defend against Rizzo on the 19th of June.
Indeed. Something I'm really looking forward to in RCW Spain is Tokyo Joshi Pro star Mio Yamashita. She has been announced for their return to Barcelona. It's been 4 years since RCW Spain have been in Barcelona, but they are returning on the 2nd of July. Another Japanese star that has been brought in for the show is British wrestling superstar, the Amazon, Heidi Katrina.
Bodyzoy. Joey Janela is heading to Belgium to be part of Bodyzoy's 5th anniversary show as he will face MBM on the 25th of June.
One of Belgium's youngest and finest competitors. We're on our way to Italy now. We got Rob Elias, the latest British wrestling superstar who will be making his way to the Italian Wrestling Association. He is set to be part of their roster as of January 2023.
SAJ Wrestling. Yota Tsuji has joined the SAJ roster ahead of their debut show Zero, where he will face Francesco Akira in Milan on the 25th of June. Also, Ricky Knight Jr., it has just been announced today, will be taking on Lupo. LJ Cleary will be taking part of that, and more Brit Wres stars are expected to be involved.
Should be really, really good. I just want to shout out Passion Bro Hungry because they just uploaded Senza Volto versus Peter Tihani. And I'm really looking forward to that. In fact, as soon as we get off that, I'm going to go checking that out free on their YouTube. So make sure you go check that out too. Go check out British Wrestling. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, don't feed the trolls.